like to do on this channel is cover the modern state of games journalism as best I can to try to shine a light on it and make it better by exposing the absolute frauds behind the scenes that are in the club where they're all together patting each other on the back and making sure they all stay gainfully employed even though they hate gamers. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT, and this article from Kotaku published by John Walker might just be the worst article I have ever seen. God, I feel like I've said that like 50 times now. JT. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down this article, if you can even call it that. Because these words that get shoved together and manipulated and pushed out and published to the general public are so bad that I'm like, is this parody? Because Kotaku at this point is such a joke that I can't help but use it for comic relief. Every announcement is meticulously scrutinized for any faint sign of a thought crime. Isn't this what a journalist should be doing, by the way? So what you're saying is we're doing your job for you, and now you're complaining about us doing your job for you? As if Kotaku couldn't outdo themselves again, we have what may be the worst article we've ever had the displeasure to read through. And I even covered this on a live stream a couple days ago because, yeah, it was that bad. Titled, "The Campaign Against Avowed Reveals the Bigotry That Fuels the Anti-Woke," and it represents a recurring pattern that we're all seeing, dismissing any kind of legitimate criticism of modern game design as just mere bigotry. And of course, it comes out of the slop factory that many longtime gamers know as Kotaku. Big shocker. Writer John Walker, the newest member of Kotaku Detected and former co-founder of Rock Paper Shotgun, positions himself as the moral arbiter of gaming discourse. And what I'm going to go through here is going to blow your mind. He begins by painting any critics of Avowed as grifters who are engaged in simply performing this campaign to enrage their audiences for money. Yes, the argument comes back once again where all these people are so concerned about how much money a YouTube person or someone on social media is making when they take a stance against something instead of looking at what they're saying and saying, maybe they have a point here. Criticism of Avowed, or any game for that matter, comes from diverse voices from all over the world. Not all of them are even monetized content creators. Some people are just being genuine gamers concerned with perceived trends in storytelling and character representation that they feel is prioritizing virtue signaling over the narrative or gameplay quality. As if he's saying with this article, you're not allowed to criticize anything. Just consume product. Don't ask questions. Don't challenge anything. Just look at the game coming out and say, sure, it's a game. I like game. I buy game. It's just boring racism, homophobia. Again, what? Did I already read this part? Yeah. Right here. Right here. Unabashed racism, homophobia, misogyny. And then down here, it's just boring racism, homophobia, and misogyny. Is this like when you're in high school and you have your teacher say you need to write a 2,000-word essay for your homework? And you just start droning on and you're like, I know I already said this, but let me just say it again down here. Many times throughout the article, Walker refers to anyone criticizing the game as unabashed racism, homophobia, and misogyny. He says, that's it. It's so boring, but that's all it is. And he says it again. Racism, homophobia, and misogyny are profitable. They're the focus. But don't worry, they'll prove how not racist they are by pointing out their furious ongoing, although mostly forgotten, campaign against Ubisoft for including a black man in an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan. Where I'm like, all right, so now we're bringing up other stories that we had issues with, and because we don't talk about that every day right now because it got delayed until February next year, that all of a sudden that's not important to us anymore. There's only so much we have to talk about in a given day. I can't talk about everything all at once every single day. That's impossible. Like, there's just not enough time. But of course, that's just the beginning of this slop piece. Walker goes on to employ a sarcastic tone throughout his piece, ridiculing the idea that Avowed could be criticized for its character choices. His exaggerated examples, like the hypothetical mission helping a gay polycule adopt a cat-identifying trans child at an abortion clinic, serves no purpose beyond just trivializing the actual criticism that people have had about not just Obsidian Entertainment and their game coming out that's called Avowed, but also the employees there. Specifically one, Matt Hansen, who has had some very racially charged messages and tweets that some could look at and say, that sounds pretty racist, where you're saying you don't want to hire white people, you want to retire to the woods, and you want to make sure a black person takes your spot. I don't know, that just sounds pretty illegal when you read it out loud. He even covers this in his own way by sidestepping the actual issue and not providing the quote or the screenshot of what Matt Hinson put out there on Twitter. And just trust me, bro, this is what he said, and it's really taken out of context. He said, because yes, horrendously, the world's richest bigot has been posting about Avowed 2, condemning its use of pronouns, and deliberately reinterpreting the art director's mocking sarcasm to be a statement of intent to be racist against white guys. So in this statement right now, John Walker, the author of this piece, is saying that it's just being deliberately misinterpreted. But he doesn't provide a screenshot of the tweet. So let me do that for you here. And we're going to go over this again real quick. Reminder to black artists out there who are looking for portfolio reviews or job advice. My DMs are open and you will always have my priority. We got too many crusty white dudes in this field. Please let me help you replace me one day. I want to go back to living in the woods. And this was taken out of context? How? Why wouldn't you provide the screenshot and break it down and tell us instead of just say, don't trust what people are saying, trust me because I'm working at Kotaku as a freelance writer because I'm unemployed right now. But yeah, trust me. A recurring issue with Walker's article is his reliance to give broad generalizations without providing any concrete evidence or sources, except where he constantly refers to click on his own articles that he's written before because, yeah, he needs the clicks. But don't worry, he's not the grifter here because reasons. It's everyone else that's the grifter. But make sure you click on his articles and give him the clicks with the advertisements that he has on Kotaku calling other people grifters, talking about how people are grifting about stuff. If you can make sense of this, please let me know. By conflating all the criticism with bigotry, Walker completely dismisses any of the readers who might hold some nuanced views here. Thankfully, that's a very small number of people because, again, this is Kotaku we're talking about, and nobody even goes there anymore except to point and laugh. It's just boring racism, homophobia, misogyny, folks. That's it. That's the entire grift. And I got you all fooled. All 554 of you in here are fooled. You're all idiots. Morons! How's it feel to fall for my grift? Walker briefly mentions Avowed's use of they-them pronouns and its character creator as a point of contention for us critics, but just quickly dismisses it as not a big deal, stating, but oh boy, are the grifters on fire about Avowed. They saw the previews about how you could hit spiders with swords, and they saw the few that mentioned the pronouns. It didn't seem particularly exciting to me, so I didn't mention it, and that was it. Which is not what it was. That's actually telling a story that didn't happen. What actually happened was the people that played the game early said they weren't allowed to show the first hour of the game and they weren't sure why. And it's because we found out during the pause screen that there are these pronouns listed in the pause scene. And it's like, oh yeah, put that together with how Dragon Age the Veilguard completely fell apart with the whole character creator. And it's like, okay, 2 + 2 = 4 here. But no. Don't actually show the story of how we realized that they're trying to hide pronouns. Just say that people talked about it and they don't understand why it's a big deal. He continues to drone on about us grifters. He fails to acknowledge any of the developers or publishers that are amplifying pronoun usage in these these fantasy RPG games. Often how they are the red flag for wokeism. If a game has pronouns, often the pattern recognition is there to be developed by us seeing it and witnessing, okay, if this is the first thing happening with it, then most likely there's going to be other things to be concerned about, whether it be character selection choices or dialogue choices or what direction the characters go in the game, and it just ruins the entire experience, especially when you start to see the people behind it and how they just hate you as a gamer, proactively saying, yeah, these people don't agree with us ideologically, we're basically just making this game to spite them. He goes on to say, that's it. That's the entire grift. You play to the venal nature of the disaffected. You feed latent bigotry and resentment, and you drop in a way to give you money. Cha-ching! But a quiet cha-ching, because it's only so effective, such that you have to exhaustively maintain the loop until eventually someone with a louder voice usurps you, which sounds pretty impressive from the perspective of, oh, so these YouTube grifters, as he puts it, are only talking about games because they don't care about them, but because they realize that there's money to be made in it. And if that was the case, wouldn't I be talking about, I don't know, banking or finances or something on YouTube that actually makes money for you? Maybe, just maybe, I have a passion for gaming and I don't like to see the direction it's been going. And I've had a YouTube channel for 8 years, and much of that I wasn't making any money at all, and I still push the same message the whole time through. No. None of that's important. It's just because they're successful right now that we need to shine a spotlight on them and say, oh, they're just making everything up and grifting you guys, because we can't have people get acknowledged, grow in success, grow in attention, and completely embarrass one-time major outlets out there like Kotaku with more people coming to our videos than click on your articles. And that in itself is the most embarrassing part of all of this. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link it in the description below. Huge shout out to John Walker for writing one of the worst articles I've ever had the displeasure of reading through. If you guys appreciate what I'm doing, let me grift real quick and say, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching it. As always, you stay smashing. That we keep seeing happen right now. And we're not grifting and making things up. It's something that, as someone who loves gaming with a passion, I want to make sure the game industry doesn't fall down to the pits of hell that it's been going. And I have a camera and a computer and a sex shack. And with that, I can go on the internet and tell people this is what I think is happening here. Take it or leave it. You don't have to come listen to me. You can go anywhere. We have over 400 people in here right now, which I would venture to guess is more people than have clicked on this article. Smash, Smash,